All right, homosexuals, join in. We got a quick one today. But oh man, as energized and pressed for time as I am, I feel amazing. It was whatever, dude. It is not often you have those full week-long workouts where everything just hits right in the good fucking way, man. Just everything's lining up the way I want it to. Everything feels good. Everything feels powerful, you know? I'm confident again. I feel like I actually know whose body I'm in. It seems odd to say, but when you injure yourself, especially injuring several parts at once, like I did with my knee and my chest and my hand pain coming back after so long, it was just back to back setbacks, just trying to get on the right track until I could do this shit again at the rate that I could comfortably do without having to really worry about my body that much, you know? I don't want to have to worry about my physical body. I'm always going to prioritize it. But I just want to lift heavy shit. Honestly, like today was initially so fun off the bat because I love inspiring people and motivating people to get in the gym or just at least getting out of their room so they don't stare at the wall and get sad. Because that's just, dude, if you're sitting at home thinking that giving yourself that rest is making you feel better, if it's consistent, then, that's probably why you feel like shit. You stare at the wall a little too long. You're eventually going to get lonely. You're going to want to be in a public space. You're going to want to be in a productive space. That's why it's important to have a good work and hobby schedule so that you consistently do passionate things. Because staring at the wall in your room is not a source of passion. I'm sorry to break it to you. You got to get out there, It's a big-ass world and plenty of homies to go around, I promise. You just got to put yourself out there and experience that for yourself. So I managed to convince all of my roommates and some other homies, we had a group of 6 people go all together. It was awesome. It's very, I know a lot of people at the gym, but it's rare I get that many people in the mood to go all at once. It's amazing. I love it. And that gets me going. So the weights, we're obviously feeling really good, especially with how much more confident I've been getting. The homie support, especially with the close homies, really motivated me to keep it going and being strong and as efficient and powerful as possible. But sometimes you got to bring yourself back down to reality from that a little bit too much fun, because I'm always going to have a really great time and put in as much passion as I can, but I train in a competitive manner. I want my form, technique, and core to be activated at a maximum output for what my body's capable of today. And I didn't realize it on the warm-ups because it wasn't heavy enough for me to doubt myself. But the moment I got to that first working set, oh boy, was it fucking heavy, man. I don't know if it looks good or not. I don't even want to look at it again. But right now, I don't know, with you guys seeing it when you get there, it did not feel pretty. I wanted to really emphasize this week on kind of sticking with the weights I did last week, but making them look easier. And I'll tell you right now, I succeeded full-heartedly. I pulled through, and I really exceeded my limitations for what I've been working toward. But that first working set was definitely the hardest. I whipped underneath it, and it felt like my core was already trying to give. It felt slow as hell. The split jerk felt awful on every rep. I just did not feel like I was warmed up at all. I felt like I just touched the barbell for the first time that workout. So I was like, all right, that really goes to show how much fun I was having, because it got to a point where I completely forgot about my form and core, And as much fun as you're going to have, you got to stay locked in enough to train at that maximum level, at the professional level that I want to be hitting every day. So I tried to lock it in as best I could in that second set. It definitely got better. I improved. That's the whole goal. It's like, okay, that one felt better, but it didn't feel perfect. But I got a glimpse of something new that I really did not expect to figure out on a day where that working felt so horrible. But sometimes you have to get hit so hard by reality in the moment in order to understand where your biggest discrepancies are, your biggest physical insecurities. And my split jerk consistently has trouble when it gets too heavy. I either overdo it or I push forward on my toes on the way back up through the dip and drive. Whenever it gets heavy, if your core is not strong enough to hold it, You're going to go down maybe at a comfortable rate. You're trying to emulate what a front squat would look like. But then on the way back up, your hips can shift forward, and you can be pushing on your toes, and then that makes the bar go forward, and then you're pushing on your front foot and not being able to let that back knee drop down where it's supposed to. And it's just a whole line of bad habits that I have consistently fell victim to since I haven't been able to really I haven't had that one good rep that taught me what I needed to truly fix. But you're going to see it in a second, I hope. But I got to that last working set, and dude, oh man, I felt it on the set, on the last rep. I think I felt like a glimpse of it. I'm like, oh shit, that feels like it's got potential. And on the last set, especially on the last few reps, but especially on that final rep of the session for my pause clean and jerks, I figured it out. And it was just a matter of allowing my core to take on more of the responsibility of the physical weight than my delts and my arms were. I didn't realize this. This has always been something I've just naturally done because it made me feel stable, even if I wasn't actually as efficiently stable as I could have been. But I would get in my standing position where I'm about to get ready for my dip and drive, and right when I get my breath in, I would allow my elbows to flare up a little bit. You know, I get that little, and my elbows would go up so that all the weight would just be on my delts, and I didn't really think about it. But when you're doing a split jerk, the dip and drive is supposed to be as symmetrical and identical to a front squat as you can make it, so that you are getting a high vertical drive with enough time and balance to where your feet can fall right where they need to go. And by just getting my breath in my core and holding my core tight and keeping my elbows where they were, because I don't flare my elbows on my front squats. I only do that when I'm really dying and my delts have already been given out, but that's because I've been doing too much volume. You know, that's not a every rep kind of deal. So I got to that last one, and dude, like, it was bewildering how simple it was. It's genuinely easy. You know, it was revitalizing, to say the least. It felt like the dip and drive was effortless, you know, because I actually had a balanced dip and drive. But up to this point, I just hadn't had the experience to know exactly what that was supposed to feel like yet. And it's a different fucking ball game, man. It's a whole different world now. So you'll see, it was a perfect landing, and I'm proud as hell for that. But other than that, the bench press, because I can't spend too long. I have work in like 20 minutes, so I gotta make sure I keep my shit together. But the bench press, man, I was hinting at it in these past couple sessions, but it's been getting more comfortable. It's been getting more confident, and I've been getting better at tucking my elbows in, so that when I get to the bottom of the rep, they don't flare out needlessly to the point where I'm pushing too hard with the muscle that connects my chest to my shoulder, rather than just using my overall pec for stability and drive. You know, I was putting way too much strain on such a small muscle, like that little thin one that's connecting right to the tendon in between your shoulder and your chest. And dude, I have not felt this confident in my lifts since I got originally injured 5+ months ago now. Because the highest weight I benched on that program was a 6 rep max at 305. And I just did 295 for a 3x6 workout. 3 sets of 6. And I drove the fuck through it, man. I haven't even seen it yet, but I that feeling you get when you actually put 100% drive behind the barbell, it's like no other. And I can promise you that you'll know it when you feel it, because there was no pain. I wasn't worried about my chest. I wasn't worried about the effort being put in. I was just doing it, you know? Especially on that last rep. The reason why I like doing a closer grip is because it emphasizes the explosiveness and the technique more than the overall, you know, static, that static hold, that full drive without doing as hard of a bounce at the bottom. But I'm an Olympic lifter, man. I'm all about technique and explosiveness and using that bounce in a comfortable, strong, powerful rate. You know, I'm not just crushing my ribs and bouncing it off my chest. I'm going fast enough to where I can have a nice dip and drive as hard as I can go off my chest, but I'm also not going just slow enough to keep it nice and controlled on the way down so that it doesn't go too fast to kill my momentum. And that's where you can get to that, you get to that halfway sticking point on the way back up, and most people can't do it because your grip is too wide to be able to stick through like that. But now that the emphasis is going a little bit more towards my triceps and my shoulders rather than just on my chest, I got to that breaking point and fucking drove through that shit, man. I feel like it almost went down for a second, and then I drove right back through it. And God, man, there's no replicating that. Truly. So before I get too carried away, just to let you know how I'm feeling before I get out of here. Physically, at the end of it, figuring all this shit out, oh, dude, 9.75. I feel peaked. I feel fucking prepped, man. Like, it's been so long since I felt like I could actually push weight. It's a different fucking ball game now. It's a different world for me. I'm a new kind of lifter. My body is not like it used to be, you know? Ugh. So I'm going to keep running it, doing my absolute best, because that was the day I needed. And I'm taking a rest day tomorrow, so you won't see me. But when I come back, we're moving on to heavy shit. I got 2 weeks of doing doubles on Olympic lifts and sets of 4 at power lifts. And I'm going to really try to stick to what I've been doing the goal is to aim for 3 working sets, but never only hitting 1. If I can only do 2 and I burn out, that's okay. You know, it was just slightly too heavy, but it was enough to where I could give it a good attempt. But if I'm only able to do 1 set, I'm not ready for it, you know? So I'm going to start with something that I feel like I can confidently do, get used to that weight, and then the next week see if I can add about 10 pounds if it was confident, you know? If it was a really hard stick and I had to drive through it with all my fucking effort, I'm not going to, go insanely hard on it I don't want to hurt my body, but we're getting there, man. We're on the way. Mentally, 9.8. It's been consistently good after good, man. I'm figuring it out. I'm learning who I am again. I'm really getting to revitalize and reassure myself that I had it in me the whole time. It was just a matter of having faith in the consistency, discipline, and passion that I've developed for this sport, you know? Wholeheartedly, all on my own, just doing it for the love and the passion, just for the sake of my own personal livelihood, you know? So I hope that can motivate any of you out there having some shit experiences, or if you're injured, whatever. There's another side of that goddamn rainbow. I promise. You'll get there. Just gotta keep doing it. I promise you'll get there. And even if you never get to where you used to be or where you expect to be, you'll get somewhere. And at the very least, give yourself credit and hope and passion for the efforts that you're putting in right now, and embrace that present moment. That's all I got. I appreciate y'all sticking around. Let me know how the lifts and the lives have been going. And I'll be back day after the next one for some heavy ass snatches. I love you guys. See ya.